Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about the importance of a father figure. I thought this was fitting because today's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the awesome dads out there. But I thought this was very important. I'm going to throw in a couple scriptures here. I'm going to read an article. And man, if you're a father, just listen to this. I thought some of these stats here on the importance of a father's is super impactful. So check this out. Everyone knows this. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. So it's very important to instill these values in our children when they were young, not just a biblical base, but in a kind of like a worldly base as well. Kind of explain what's happening in the world to your kids, and know what they're reading in school and what they're watching on TV. There's a lot of things that we can get involved in our children's life as well. So teach them everything now, so when they're older, it stays with them. I heard this actually today at my church. I had this presentation already made. My pastor brought this scripture up, and I thought it was a good scripture. It says Proverbs 17:6, children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. So children are measured by their fathers. We're very important and need to be impacting our children in their life. Ephesians 6:4, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. I know a lot of people like this, and so we shouldn't have unreasonable demands of our children and drive them to anger. We're supposed to be very humble and teach them humility, and that's what we're supposed to do as both parents and fathers. So let's jump into this. I thought this was an interesting article. It came back, or it came out either, it was yesterday or today. It comes from Fox News. Again, not trying to get political. I thought it was a good article, so here it is. But if you're a dad, I think you should listen to this. I'm going to show you some of the stats and why it's so important for you to be in their life. America's crisis is a lack of fathers. Father's Day this weekend, but as we celebrate, we must not forget the millions of children who are growing up without a dad in the home. Check out some of these stats. As our country commemorates Father's Day this weekend, it is important that we recognize the millions of children throughout our nation who are growing up without their fathers. Data from the United States Census Bureau shows that nearly 18.5 million children grow up without their fathers, which has in return led to the United States owning the title of the world's leader in fatherlessness. We know that fatherhood is essential to the development of our children, and the increased involvement of fathers in the home leads to better results and a wide variety of outcomes, from economic prosperity, increased academic performance, to improved social mobility. Fathers in their respective homes continue to be a key indicator of success for all children across racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups. That is why we have joined forces to introduce a resolution into the U.S. House of Representatives that promotes fatherhood and its proven benefit to society. And I agree with this a bunch. I feel like dads and fathers, they aren't talked as much. I feel like we've just kind of gotten trampled over throughout the years. And I feel like for some reason we've just kind of gotten less important. And I know there's a lot of groups out there, but I just think we should go ahead and promote fathers more. And I think more on the mother side, they're getting promoted, which is fine. I think that's great. But I feel like it's kind of outweighed now where fathers aren't even promoted anymore. We're just kind of like trampled on. So I might actually start putting out more videos like this. I like doing these, and we need more leadership, actual leaders and fathers to speak out about this stuff and how to fix it. And it says, here it is. There is little doubt that America is experiencing unprecedented fatherless crisis. Approximately 80% of single parent homes are led by single mothers. And I'll make a point here real quick is I think obviously mothers are equally as important. I think it's awesome what these moms do, picking up the slack of the fathers. But I want to kind of point out that fathers need to step up. As dads, we all need to step up. Start training them now. Therefore, leading to nearly 25% of our youth growing up without a father in the home. That's pretty horrific. This staggering statistic not only destroyed the nuclear family, but has devastated communities across the nation. For example, 85%, listen to these stats, 85% of children and teens with behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. And over 70% of all adolescent patients in drug and alcohol treatment centers originate from homes without fathers. That's a big percent. Fatherless youth eventually become adults who, without the structure of a two-parent household, struggle to gain their footing in the world. There's little doubt that America is experiencing an unprecedented fatherless crisis. As America deals with a rise in crime, substance use, incarceration, and I'm going to bring this up real quick because I'm part of this ministry. It's actually based here in Florida, which is pretty cool. But it's a workbook that they release into prisons, and it just teaches Bible principles from beginning to end and how to grow. And what these people are in prison do is they we'll send them like, 20 questions. The people in prison will answer them. They send them back. And then I just kind of like grade them. I'll read them and just kind of critique them a little bit. And it's so sad. I'd have to agree 100% with these statistics. About over 90% of these mention how the father left or there was some type of abuse in home from the father. And so obviously the person in jail is always going to be to blame for. They're obviously partial of it, or part of it. But the father that's training these kids, that starts at a young age and they need to be in their life. But all these people, the father left or they've been abused. So it's so sad. So we as a society and a world need to get back to our roots. It talked about the nuclear family. And I agree 100%. Husband, wife, and kids. And that's looking down upon now. And so something is happening that starts in our homes. Is we need to start teaching our kids now so when they go out in the world, they're prepared for it. Substance abuse, incarceration, decreased social mobility, and economic strains, we must acknowledge the impact that fatherlessness has had on all these issues. We must recognize how we as fathers empower, teach, and develop our children plays a direct role in the well-being, mental health, and ability to persevere through adversity. This resolution allows us as both elected officials and advocates for the nuclear family to recognize and promote federal policies which incentivize two-parent households. Behold the enormous benefits to our children. There are numerous advantages in a society that result from a strong nuclear family. There's lots of studies. The nuclear family is the way to go. For example, regarding poverty, data shows that children without a father in the home are 5 times more likely to live in poverty than a child in a two-parent household. Furthermore, research indicates that children without fathers at home are 9 times more likely to drop out of school and represent 90% of all homelessness and runaway children. We can no longer afford to ignore the debilitating impact that fatherless homes have on our youth and our community. So let me ask you, what study or what organization have you heard of that really reaches out and tries to build strong leadership for fathers? They don't exist. We have them for women, which I think is great. There's a lot of women groups out there, and I admire them. I think it's awesome. But we also need to bring back men groups and leadership. And I'm sitting here thinking about this presentation here, and maybe I'll start doing more studies on this and being a leader as a father and how we impact the society. That's what we're supposed to do. As Americans across the country prepare to give thanks to the millions of hardworking fathers, let us not leave behind the forgotten men, women, and children who do not celebrate alongside us. The success of our nation depends on 4 central tenets. Faith, absolutely. You got to have God at the top. Family, the free market, and education. And our resolution is the first of many measures that champion the spirit of those 4 tenets with the support in which they deserve. Lastly, to the God-fearing fathers. And the word God-fearing just means respecting, obeying, and submitting to God's discipline. And then I think about my kids. I love them, but every once in a while I might have to discipline them. But they have it's like a healthy fear is what it is. We ask that you look beyond your own homes and make intentional efforts to coach. And I agree with this as well. If you know of someone that doesn't have a father, reach out to them. And if you're part of like a baseball team or something, you're important as a coach, not just on the field to teach them baseball or basketball, whatever sport it is, but be a mentor to them. Reach out to people that you know that have fathers, maybe a young kid, and reach out and talk to them. And that way they can look up to you so they have some type of father figure. Own homes that make intentional efforts to coach, mentor, and support the fatherless children in your own communities. So I agree with that 100%. I just thought it was interesting. Look, if you're a dad, you're listening to this, man, stay in your child's life, because if not, it creates so many issues down the road. And it would be awesome if this ministry here just went away in jail, the one that I'm doing, because 20 years from now, someone heard this video or something or started writing these articles, and the fatherless people in jail, they just don't exist anymore because we get back to the nuclear family. I'd love to just see more stuff that's talked about it because it's important. So that's it. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share. That's how we're growing this channel, and I appreciate all you that stuck with me throughout the years. We release our Meg segment once a week, and then we put out short videos throughout the week. So that's it. See you guys next week.